Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Audrey Folsom. I am going to do a quick introduction, kind of a orientation here for you to your microbiology course. And so if you click on your microbiology course and you've landed here, then you're in the right place. So I do want you to pay attention to the announcements. I'll be sending them regularly to keep you on track. You can click this to meet me to learn a little bit more about me if you want to. Okay, I'm going to point out there's a couple things here that you really want to pay attention to. So the tables are going to be some assignments that you have throughout the semester, and I'm going to click on them. And there's here they all are, and they're alphabetical. But if you want to get a start on some of these, you can. They're related to the back half of the chapters in the book for most of those, and then some of them is going to be some of the specific subject matter in the book. Okay, so just letting you know they're all there, and in your study guides, this is another thing you really want to pay attention to. You really want to start working on this from day one because they're going to pull specific questions from each lesson, and so you can work if you work on them as you work through the lessons, it won't be so much work. So you want to so you see the two that say midterm. So there's a study guide for the lab for midterm, and there's a study guide for the lecture for midterm. You want to really pay close attention to those and start working on those from day one. Once we get our midterm exam, that material, we'll just leave it behind and we'll start on some new material. And then that material you'll study for your final. So we're kind of doing a two-part thing. And so then you will want to work on your study guide for the lab for your final and the study guide for your lecture for your final. And again, this is a document you want to start working on from the beginning, answering the questions that are pertinent to what we just covered, and then in each lesson, and just building on that. And then you'll have them ready to go when and you can be starting on those and be ready to go for when midterm shows up. So other than that, there's a link to APA Basics. You're going to do some discussions, and I would like you to post your references in APA. So this may help you right there. You don't have to put like a big whole paper in APA format or anything like that. Just I want your references in APA. And then Grammarly, if you have trouble writing and really have issues with grammar, might want to run your post through Grammarly. It's a free service, and it'll make sure that your stuff is written correctly. So this is built kind of backwards. So just scan, through these. You'll see when each module opens, but that will allow the newest module to always be on top. Okay, so I have the first module open here, and right now, there's going to be one more thing. There's going to be a video. It's going to pop up here as processing right now for your intro to micro lesson. So under lesson, you have the intro to micro PowerPoint. Now, if you don't want to do anything with that, you don't have to. These are simply the PowerPoint slides from the lesson. If you like printing them and taking notes, that's why this is available for you here. And then the Neuropod lesson is you need to do it, and the video will be uploaded here. So you can watch the video of my lecture, and you can work through the Neuropod lesson at the same time, or you can watch the lecture and then do the Neuropod lesson. It's up to you. There will always be a join code. You can download a Neuropod app and do it on your phone or a tablet, or you can just do it on the laptop and go to neuropod.com and join the session. Each session has a different join code, and then I'll ask you for your first and last name, and I need you to do that so that I know who you are and that you have indeed done your lesson. Next is an open book quiz. This is not timed, so think of this more of a worksheet through the material. It's kind of lengthy, but it's there's quite a few questions in these. But again, not really interested in you memorizing any of this stuff. It's just helping you discover the information. Okay, and then you will have your labs. So your lab here, note that your labs are in the same format as your quizzes. So labs are actually in a quiz format. So if it says lab in the title, it's a lab. If it says quiz in the title, it's a quiz. And you will see a lot of them. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. Not all of them, but a lot of them are in this kind of format here where you have a video to watch. They're never going to be really lengthy. Some of them are, a few of them are TED Talks, so they might be as long as 20 minutes, but the majority are going to be TED Ed Talks, and they're more like 5 minutes. And then you have questions to answer based on what is shared in the videos. I highly encourage you to watch the videos and then answer the questions based on the information in the video, and not just try to make it up or to Google it, because you're probably going to miss it if you do that. So then you have, here's another one. You can play it. This one's a lot shorter. Sometimes there'll be multiple choice questions, and then sometimes it's just essay type questions. Anyway, so there's quite a few labs that are in that format. Others may be some matching and some ordering and some multiple choices and stuff like that. Okay, so let me return here to our class. And so that's going to be the general layout, and then there's going to be also discussions. Your first discussion is actually over here in your orientation. So we'll go over the syllabus here in just a second. Again, here's a link to Nearpod. You might just want to click on it and then just bookmark it if you're going to use it on your laptop, or go ahead and download the app. The app is free for your phone if you prefer using your phone. Again, here's the same APA basics, the same links that were up further up. And then here's your first discussion, the first forum. And so it's obviously we're just going to introduce ourselves, but there will be a discussion that pops up on a regular basis. And then here's your calendar. And again, right now, let me see, click on it. Since I have everything hidden, it's not really showing anything. I'd have to get out of the, let me go ahead and get out and put it on my normal mode, and then you can see a little bit what's going on. Okay, so as modules open, you're going to see what you have to do and when it's due. So this is, yeah, and we're going to do a lot of work, right? We're fitting all of this that would normally be done in 16 weeks, we're fitting in 4 weeks. So just, be ready to get some work done. So here are the due dates for everything plus link. But you wanna make sure that you check off and do things as you can in each week, each daily module. I say weekly module, but they really are daily modules. Let me go back to the student view here, and you can actually manually check off stuff like especially here. So some of them, as you complete it, it should automatically check off. But like if you've done it, you can just put a little check mark. There you go. You've finished that. It should automatically give yourself a check mark in case it doesn't. Finish this one. If you need to, give yourself a check mark. Okay, so that way you can keep track of everything. Make sure you've done what you need to do. These are the dates when each module opens. So let's go over the syllabus for a second. So this is your standard Black River syllabus. So here's my email address if you need to email me. Right here, just click on that link. You can, this is my office phone, but I'm not really in my office at A-State a lot. You need to have taken Anatomy 1 before you take this class. And there's, again, general goals that are just all set by Black River. So here is your textbook. So it's called Microbiology Fundamentals of Clinical Approach, 2nd edition. If you happen to have the 1st edition or run across the 1st edition and stuff like that, it's actually okay to use. The information is not significantly different. And you need a computer with good internet access, obviously. And you're going to use Respondus on your midterm and your final, so you'll need to have those also available. You need access to the Nearpod app, whether on your phone. It's a free app, so either on your phone, tablet, or go to nearpod.com. Obviously, be able to run Moodle from your computer and stuff like that, right? And so this is how you're graded: course activities and assignments. So participate in the lectures of the lessons. So again, this is viewing the video and participating in the class activities on Nearpod. And that is 10% of your grade. Easy points to earn, easy points to lose if you don't do it. Your homework, so that is your open book quizzes are basically your homework. And there would be those open book quizzes are going to be 28% of the final grade. your online labs. So they're going to be 30% of your final grades. And they're going to be listed in each unit and related to each topics that we're discussing. And within your labs, you have your the table assignments also that I listed. And I will click on the table assignment and we'll go over one of them so you can understand what I'm asking on the table assignment. So labs and table assignments are part of this 30% of that grade. We're going to do some weekly discussions. And so you'll be writing over a microbiology topic. I want you to use scientific peer-reviewed articles to support your post. If you go on the internet, you need to use .gov, .edu, .org often also is acceptable. You want to kind of stay away from the .coms. Plagiarism is not allowed, and you would just get a 0 if you plagiarize, which means you don't cite where you get your information or you're copying without attributing where you got it from. Each discussion will be in reference in APA, so you put your references in APA, and if you in your reply, you need to also put your reference for the content that you're contributing and stuff. So that's 20% of your final grade. I used to make people do papers, but I decided to replace the papers with this because we have such a short span of time, and I'm not even sure I'll be able to get everything graded in that time span. So if we did big papers and stuff, and then you have your midterms and your finals. There's a midterm for lab and for lecture, and there's a final for lab and for lecture. You don't have to make up exams. You will have some multiple choice questions from the lab coming from the study guides, and open-ended questions for the lecture, and they're coming straight from the study guides. You don't really have any extra credit opportunities. You just get all your work done. You'll be fine. If you need technical support, Moodle support, etc., you got all the policies that are standard. You can read through them. And then here's our course outline. Again, I highlighted start working on your study guide for lecture and lab exam 1, so the midterm here. So your first day is going to be start the intro discussion. Make sure you have all your materials in your book. You can go ahead and get started. Intro to Micro is open, and you can start working on all this stuff. So second lesson. So again, this is Monday, this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday. Tools of the lab. You have your lecture, start of a new discussion. So this was your just introduce yourself discussion. Now we're going to do a discussion on the microbiome. You'll have your open book quizzes. You have your disease table, skin and eyes. So we're going to go over that one. I'm going to show you what's going on there. Your microscope labs and the growth media lab all do, you got to get all this work done. Then on Thursday is the bacteria. You have an interactive lecture, open book quiz, online lab bacteria, disease table for the nervous system. So that would be for all your work for the first week. This is the second week, and you can keep seeing the chunk here at the end of the second week is going to be your midterm exams, lecture, and lab. And then we're moving on to this chunk and different study guide. And then all the way through to the final exam. We'll get through this really quickly, so it's very important for you to be stay on schedule and to just plow through all of this. So let me go back up here and show you the table assignment right here so that you get an idea of what I'm asking. So the first one was skin and eyes, so let's go ahead and click on it. So it's going to just download a Word document, okay, that you're going to click on and you're going to open. And it is in it should pop up in landscape mode. It's supposed to. If it flips it for you, you might want to just flip it back in landscape so you can see it better. Hit enable editing, okay? And then I want you, for each of these organisms, I want you to fill in this table. So I want you to tell me its morphology and characteristics. So for example, is it a bacteria or is it a virus? If it's a bacteria, is it gram-positive? Is it gram-negative? Is it a rhodococci and all of that? You're going to learn all about this in this class. What kind of condition does it grow? Is it aerobic, anaerobic, all that kind of stuff. If we're talking about a virus, I need to know things like, is it a naked virus? Is it enveloped? What's its shape? Is it, if it's a naked, is it icosahedral or is it helical? Or what is it? And what's its genetic material? Is it a DNA virus, RNA virus, positive sense, negative sense. There's all kinds of descriptors. You need just give detail, okay? How is it transmitted? What are the signs and symptoms? And again, you don't have to be super elaborate, but you do need to put stuff. So, I mean, transmission could be air droplets from coughing. Bam, that could be it. Okay, right? And so that would be for like measles, I believe it's air droplet and stuff. What are your signs and symptoms of typical signs and symptoms of that disease? What are the diagnostic tests? So how do we detect this disease? How do you prevent it? So hand washing is probably always going to be correct there, but some of them might be vaccination is how you prevent it and stuff. And then treatment. So even though I put topical, oral, and antibiotics, and I put a specific one here, you can't just put antibiotics, okay? I'm sorry, just try to be a little specific. At the very least, put a class of antibiotics. Again, remember viruses. You can't treat viruses with antibiotics and stuff like that. So don't be listening to me an antibiotic for a virus. So most of this information you should be able to find in your book, but feel free to go look. CDC is a wonderful place for a lot of this information, so feel free to go poke around the CDC website to find this type of information. Again, just condense the information that you see. I just need, the basics, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself, because you're going to need some of this information to study. From some of this you could use in your study guides and stuff like that. So make it to the point. Give details in your descriptives. That's where I see most people kind of lose points, and then not being specific enough on the treatment, just put antibiotics and stuff like that, which, again, try to put at least a class of antibiotics. So those are the table assignments. Again, pretty straightforward. Just use the sources that you have available to you to complete that assignment. So there you go. So this is going to be a lot of work, but it's totally doable. I believe that you guys can get this done. I do teach it with a clinical emphasis because that's my background for one, and plus you guys are pretty much all going into healthcare, so I might as well teach it that way. And if I've missed anything, or if you have any questions, anything that's unclear, just feel free to email me. I'll be glad to answer any kind of questions. And I will definitely be posting announcements to keep you guys on track. Do clear your schedule, and don't be planning any kind of outings or fun stuff for 4 weeks. You're just going to do micro. And if you're in micro in anatomy 2, I'm sorry, you're just not going to have a life for about 4 weeks. So, but you can do this. You can do it and knock it out and be done with it. So, congrats for being in here, and I hope you have a good summer to July term.